It was a quiet morning in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traore, a man known not for grand speeches or lavish ceremonies, but for his simplicity, for his closeness to the people, had just finished a long meeting at the presidential palace. Instead of riding back in his motorcade, he chose something different. He chose to walk, alone, through the heart of the city he loved. As he moved through the busy streets, the noise of the markets and the rhythm of daily life surrounded him. But Traore was not looking for headlines. He was seeking connection, reflection, truth. Then, something caught his eye. Beneath the wide shade of an old tree, an elderly man sat quietly. His clothes were torn, his shoes worn thin. In his hands, an old book, its pages yellowed with age, carefully read, line by line, as if the world around him didn't exist. Traore paused. Something about this man felt familiar. He stepped closer. And then he knew. It was Professor Adama, his old high school philosophy teacher, the man who had once stood tall before young dreamers, inspiring them to believe in justice, dignity, and greatness. Now, he sat alone, forgotten by the world he once served. "Professor Adama," he called softly. The old man looked up, startled. Recognition flickered in his tired eyes. He tried to stand, but his frail legs betrayed him. Traore rushed forward, steadying him with firm, caring hands. "Mr. President, I didn't expect to see you here." "Don't call me president. To me, you will always be my teacher." Pause to let it sink in. The two stood there, a president and his teacher, bound by memory and respect. Professor Adama hesitated, then spoke, his voice cracked with pain and humility. "Adama, my house was lost to debt. My pension is not enough. I tried to keep teaching privately, but my health, it failed me." Traore listened, not as a politician, but as a son listens to a father. Inside him, sadness gave way to anger. Anger at a system that had forgotten its builders. Anger at the injustice faced by those who had shaped the minds of a nation. Without a word, he helped Adama into a nearby official car. This was not charity. This was a mission. They drove to a local bank, the same humble bank Traore had used for personal errands before he became president. Inside, the young bank manager, well-dressed and nervous, rushed to greet him. "Mr. President, it is an unexpected honor. How may we assist you?" Traore nodded towards Adama. "This is Professor Adama, my teacher, a man who shaped generations. Today, we correct a great injustice." Pause. Let the audience feel the gravity. "I want a special account created, an account to support the retired teachers of Burkina Faso. They should never again have to live with shame or hunger." The manager hesitated. He knew the logistics would be complex, the costs significant. But one look into Traore's eyes, and he understood. This was not a suggestion. It was a duty. "Yes, Mr. President, we will make it happen." Professor Adama sat silently, overwhelmed. He tried to protest. "I don't deserve this." "You deserve so much more. You taught us to value dignity. You gave us the tools to dream. Now, it's time for us to give you back your dignity." Outside the bank, passers-by had begun to notice. Some recorded the moment discreetly. Within hours, the footage flooded social media. Hashtags like "Tendu Dignity for Teachers" and "Heroes of Burkina" exploded across platforms. A nation, once divided by hardship, united in pride and sorrow. The next day, at a national press conference, Ibrahim Traore stood before the people. Beside him, a now revitalized Professor Adama, dressed in clean clothes, eyes shining with hope. He is a symbol. He represents every teacher, every nurse, every farmer who gave their life to building this nation, and who were forgotten. This ends now. He unveiled the Valuing Unsung Heroes program, a sweeping initiative to guarantee pensions, health care, and recognition for those who built Burkina Faso. Not just teachers, but nurses, farmers, factory workers, everyone who had once been invisible. Across the country, hope blossomed. Retired teachers, many living in poverty, began receiving new pensions. Mobile health clinics rolled out into forgotten villages. Old farmers once abandoned were given the care they had long deserved. International headlines praised Traore's humanity. One journalist wrote, "He is not just governing, he is healing a nation's soul." In a small village deep in the countryside, a retired teacher named Fatou, one of the first beneficiaries, smiled through tears. "I taught my students that education is the key to the future, but I never imagined that my country would remember me when I needed them most." Months later, a grand ceremony was held. Hundreds of teachers, farmers, and nurses gathered, their lives forever changed by one small moment under a tree. On that stage, Traore stood. No formal suit, no bulletproof vest, just a simple traditional outfit of his people. When I found Professor Adama on the streets, I asked myself, how did we let our heroes be forgotten? But today, we write a new story, a story of dignity, of honor, of gratitude. Professor Adama, stronger now, rose slowly from his seat. He made his way to the microphone. "Mr. President, what you have done today is more than politics. It is an act of love. It will change lives, just as it changed mine." Traore embraced him warmly. Two generations, two hearts, bound by respect. At the ceremony's end, a small child walked up shyly to Traore and handed him a handmade notebook. Inside, a simple message: "Heroes never die. They live forever in the hearts they inspire." Captain Ibrahim Traore knew this was not just a memory. It was a promise that, in Burkina Faso, no hero would ever be forgotten again.